Hello everyone, Father John from St Ignatius Parish in St Heliers with you on this, the 22nd Sunday of the Church's year. It's also the end of another week of lockdown level 3 and I hope you're doing okay. By common consent I think it's getting tougher and it's time to say hang in there and let us all do our best for the sake of the common good of our country. It's also something that we can put it in context with is this week we've also been listening to horrendous stories of those who've lost loved ones in the massacres in Christchurch or those who've survived the mass murders. They have a life's journey which is much more challenging and very, very hard ahead of them. Let's take these our situation and these thoughts to the Gospel and see what it has to say to us. The underlying theme of the Gospel is journey. Now we have a life journey, and so there is a journey in the Gospel. On the one hand, it's Jesus' journey, and there, the moment he started his public ministry, he knew that it was probably 99% certain that he would be killed. A prophet raising his inconvenient voice, or somebody bringing about a kingdom where people were set free from the oppressive structures of the empire and being able to live with love inclusively, celebrating, forgiving, healing, hope, prayer. All of those things were a challenge and were likely to end in death. So when Jesus talks about this part of his journey, Peter tries to stop him. In effect, he says, you do what I say, not I do what you say. And there Jesus turns to him and says, get behind me, Satan, evil. What he means is the word get behind me is to follow behind, to become a disciple, somebody who follows behind and learns. So part of Peter's journey and ours is a following journey, following behind Christ and learning. Jesus sums it up a bit more. If anyone wants to become a follower of mine, let them renounce themselves, take up their cross and follow me. Now, this cross does not mean an addition to the burdens that we already have. We've already got enough burdens without calling the Christian faith an extra one. In the olden days of when I grew up, people were called to just accept life and the burdens that it came, even the wrongs that were done to us, as our cross. Not anymore. The cross that we are talking about is much more than that. On the one hand, the cross for many people is something that is done to them without their say, without their will. I'm thinking of all sorts of violence, physical violence, sexual violence, verbal and psychological violence in these lockdown days, the violence in Christchurch. Beyond that, the situation of subpar living for so many of our people, where there is not enough food on the table tonight, or where there is no possibility of a good future in terms of jobs, or even housing which will shelter them from the cold. All of these things can be described as a cross, but the moment we say, it's okay, bear it, we are like Peter. And Jesus says, get behind me and get into your following like me to work for his kingdom. That's our journey. And the journey there is a journey of love and commitment. It means we're committed to living our lives to make a change and to bring hope and love into the life of those around us as we journey together and into the life of our society as we journey together on this COVID journey. Jesus gives the rationale for that. He says anyone who likes to keep or hold his or her own life will lose it. And we get the image of people's approach to life where everything gets held in and closed down. If we look, on the other hand, at the opposite, which is the giving out of oneself, there we have a picture of what I think Jesus is inviting us to choose for our journey. The word life here is the Greek word psyche, which means not only our physical body, but our emotional and physical and psychological and spiritual well-being. It's the secret of being a whole person, and it means that journey to becoming Christ-like is what this journey is about. There is a picture or a fresco in Assisi where we find Jesus carrying his cross, and he's bent over with the burden of it and the beatings he's received. And he's turning around looking behind him. And there is St. Francis, bent over but less bent over, carrying his cross behind Jesus. Now, Francis was not a pathetic, passive figure either. He was somebody who rejoiced in life, made singing and music, love of the nature and the world, part of his ministry of renewing the church. The renewal of the church in this time of level lockdown where we have no masses is precisely in discipleship and in our journey. May our journey this week be one of faith and hope and enabling love. Have a nice week. God bless you.